Well, hello, and welcome back, y'all. Today, I wanted to start a new challenge series. I did want to start doing the alphabet challenge. This was actually a lot of fun. It definitely made me think outside the box. So, letters are going to give you some really weird room shapes sometimes. But so that said, we're going to start with the letter A. Go figure, right? So, I'm just going to do a quick speed build here and kind of walk you through a little bit of what I was sort of thinking. As you can see, I'm starting to build the letter A. The picture on the left is essentially my sketch of the letter A, so it wouldn't be as difficult for me to build it on the fly. So I found some graph paper online that I could draw on, and I kind of did it that way, keeping in mind that I wanted to build these on a lot that was no bigger than 15 by 20. This letter ended up being a little more narrow, and of course, you know, Sims being Sims, graph paper being graph paper, I kind of felt obviously that I had to make a few changes here and there as I went. I knew I would have to do that, so you'll see that I started adjusting the opening of the A as well as the hole of the A. And yes, there's a joke in there, but I need to keep it YouTube friendly, you know what I mean? So anyway, I was fixing that to kind of get more space inside the home. And you'll see later that there's plenty of space in the home. It's a lot bigger than I anticipated it to be. I figured it was going to be like a tiny home style, and maybe I made the letter too big. So it's going to be a trial and error kind of situation for me as we go. Now, the next part is the harder part, which was getting the roof. I didn't even have an idea. I had no clue what I was going to do or how. I just kind of winged it as I went and hoped for the best. And you'll see where I changed the roofs a few times on the top part of the letter A. That was the most difficult part for me to figure out. I knew there was a way to do it. I just couldn't remember how to do it. And I really didn't want to look it up. So I was just doing the whole trial and error thing. And then you'll see me take it all back because I changed my mind yet again. And trying to get the roof line to look good, there was no particular way that I was even thinking of the roof to look from the beginning. It was just a matter of making it work. So that's what I did. And trust me, you'll see in this speed build that I was going back and forth. I'd get something to work, but then I changed my mind and then something different. And that wouldn't work with what I already did. So I had to do it over, start over. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But you'll see me like, I'll be pulling in the sides here and there. I split the roof up, or at least those two main sections of the roof up into like 3 different pieces, I believe. The other part, I was having a problem with the roofing trims. It wasn't lining up the way I wanted it, or it was just clipping or glitching. I know it's not that big of a deal, but for me, I wanted it to look nice from the outside, even though you're not really going to look at the outside very often. I even tried to build a room up top to cut the roofs off, but when I take down the walls or put in a half wall, it brought the roofs back. So that wasn't working either. And I decided that I wanted to do a glass roof over the A-hole. Sorry, that was funny. But anyway, I decided to do a glass roof over the A-hole because I wanted that to kind of like be a garden type, lanai type situation. I wasn't exactly sure how I was going to do it, but I knew I wanted a glass roof over the whole. Although I know that this is already kind of a unique roof style to begin with, because I was trying to roof the actual letter A and not just do like a flat roof all the way across. I figured, you know what? Why not go all out and make it even weirder and stranger? So I did. I did have to add a wall so that I could get a ceiling over the porch area, and then I realized that I couldn't do the frieze like I wanted, so I had to push the roof back a little bit so that I could add a platform so that I could add the frieze like I wanted. But ooh, there were a few times that I would go inside the house in the free camera mode so that I could look up at the ceiling and look up at the glass roof and see what was clipping, what wasn't. I didn't have to do that a lot, but I did do it a few times, and I'm glad I did. When you don't know what you're doing with the roof and you're just playing it by ear using trial and error, as I do with a lot of things, it makes a lot more difficult. But like I said, I knew there was a way to do it. I knew there was. I just couldn't figure it out, and it was so frustrating. I mean, I did eventually, obviously, figure it out, but it just took me a minute. And ooh, it was fun though. It's getting me thinking outside my box. Of course, I was trying to get creative with the stairs out front, but that didn't work either. I mean, I had the idea to do like a little half wall on either side of the stairs, but it just didn't look the way I was thinking it to look in my head. So I just kind of changed my mind on that. I did go ahead and add some windows so that I would have some nice lighting inside, but also to kind of see how the roof line was working with the windows that I was thinking of putting in, which I figured I might change later, but in the end I just decided to keep them, and I think they work really well. Trying to figure out what to do with the interior section where the little grassy section is in the A-hole. I'd initially thought that I could just do an opening so you could just walk in because it was roof. But later you'll see that I changed my mind and put in a glass door because I put in a grill in that area. And if you're grilling in that little section, that smell is going to permeate to the entire house. I mean, I know it's The Sims and it's not reality. It's simality, but I still didn't think that it was realistic to do it that way. And I do try to keep my bills somewhat realistic. So I did change that to a door. And I already had kind of an idea of where I was going to put some rooms, where the kitchen would go, where the living room would go. So you'll see me kind of dropping some furniture pieces here and there so that my brain could comprehend and remember that this is this room and that is that room. And it would help me kind of lay it out a little bit better as far as like separations for the walls and things like that. I already knew that the kitchen and dining room was going to be a lot bigger than what I had anticipated. So I was kind of contemplating on how to do that, how to fill up the space. And I was laying down the pieces, but I also couldn't figure out where exactly I was going to put the bathrooms and how to place them because I didn't want to take away from the walkway. I didn't want the walkway to be too small. You know, the little walkway into the kitchen, dining area, excuse me, or the walkway into the living room. So I had to play around with the bathroom sizes a little bit. One of them is open to the house. The other one is open to the bedroom. So there's an ensuite room and then another bedroom. I was able to put in 2 bedrooms because it's a pretty good sized house. I think it's 185 tiles or something like that. So that's not too bad. That includes the porch, but it's still not that bad. I did know that I wanted the kitchen on the back wall. I was thinking galley style, but once I got into doing the kitchen, I realized that those 2 kind of angled corners there on either side of the counters, it just looked weird. So I decided to put in kind of a half wall of sorts. And I don't know if I'm going to go back in and kind of triangle that little section off and raise the floor. As you can see, the living room is a decent size. It's not big, but it's definitely not tiny. Then with the dining room, I was having so much trouble in that area. It just seemed so empty. Something was missing and I didn't want to have a lot of empty space. So I went back to the dining room after I finished figuring out the bedroom doors and all of that, which I did change so that the entryway was a little bit more defined and not so wide open, which gave the bedrooms a few extra more tiles. And I feel like that helps a little bit as far as functionality and feng shui goes. Although it may not be the feng shui it's supposed to be because, you know, Sims, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I also wanted to do something different with the porch cover. So I added a few windows, just like an accent piece kind of thing to make it, I don't know, feel more modern, I suppose. And this is when I decided to put in the platform above the porch, I guess, to get the frieze up there. But then I kind of lost the windows in doing that, so I had to raise the roof, put the windows in, lower the roof again, and I used I think it's Alt left click, and that allows you to move the ceiling up and down a lot smoother. It gives you a little more freedom. And honestly, this whole part was just a complete and utter trial and error because I did not have a roof section wide enough there. So there was a little gap I had to fix that I had to bring in the overhangs, extend the roof out so that it would fit more properly, and it was closing off those little gaps. But I did finally end up being able to get the windows up there, which I really liked. I did play around with the glass ceiling height, you know, moved it up, moved it down, kind of where I wanted it, to see if I wanted it completely flat or up a little higher or up way high, I don't know. But in the end, I like where it sits. I do really like that. I also added some pillars to the porch support, I suppose for aesthetics, kind of. But I feel also like it completed it. It just made it look more done. I did make the stairs a bit wider too because the way I had the pillars initially on the single wide stairs, the pillars were directly in front of the door and I did not like that. I did go ahead and add interior doors, again, just to keep my brain focused on what I was doing and where my brain was at in the moment that I was building it, because if I go back to this later, I'm probably going to look at it and think, what was I going to do? I can't remember. So as I was laying out the furniture, I realized that I put the twin beds where the attached bathroom was and the full size or the king size bed in the other room. So I had to switch them around so that there would be a full ensuite on the other side that was attached to the bathroom. Anyhow, I realized that where the dining room area was, I could add a little office nook. And my initial thought was to put it between the dining table and the refrigerator because I wanted to keep the dining table in front of the windows, but I don't know, it just wasn't going to work. I thought about doing walls. And then I was like, no, we're not doing walls to separate it because I think that would have made it just way, way worse. So I decided to go ahead and put the office desk on the other side of the dining table, like behind the bathroom, which made more sense to me. So I moved the dining room and the desk around a few times. Comes together nicely. I mean, I got 25 more of these to go, so you let me know what you would like to see and I'll do my best. So now we're just going to go ahead and jump right on into the room decorating and see how good or bad I do. So let's just get into it, guys. We interrupt your regularly scheduled program to remind you to hit that like button, leave your comments, questions, and suggestions down below, hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget that notification bell. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. And here is the master bedroom. As you can see, there's a lot of orange, a lot of dark brown. I really, really like the way this turned out. The ottoman, the curtains, the rug, it all just kind of meshes really well together. It's very peaceful. It's very calming. I've got the books over there. The ceiling light is actually a lot of light, believe it or not. And this piece here, I kind of feel like it needs a water pitcher and basin, but I looked on the gallery and I couldn't find one under pitcher or basin or anything like that. So if y'all know where that is, let me know, because I would love to see it. So I think now we're going to move into the master bathroom, and here it is. I love it. The orange and the green just kind of meshes really, really well with the orange and the brown in the master bedroom. You know, the dark brown, orange, and green just kind of go really well together. Almost 70s style, but I don't think I'm going to do it 70s style. It might end up that way, but that's not my plan. But anyway, the shower does step down, and I've got the shower doors from, I believe, Lovestruck, if I'm not mistaken. And all the necessities are in the bathroom. And here is the bathroom for the guests. It's a little difficult to see because it's kind of small, but I got a little man there, got a little woman, a little down arrow, so you know which way is out, of course. And then the bathtub. So I think what I'm going to do is use kind of this color scheme here. I'm going to try anyway, and kind of either use the same kind of color scheme or something that will coordinate really well with it. So let's see what I can do. Here we have the two girls' bedroom. There's some makeup, some lotions, got a water bottle, glasses. Love these curtains. Ever since I found them, I want to use them in every build I can. But they do have their own study desk with their own computer, and you can tell they've been working on homework and whatnot, and the little reading nook over here. So now I think I'm going to go into the kitchen. Alrighty, so I finished the kitchen, and I also did the dining room, which is a little moody, but you know, it is what it is. We also have the little office section here, a little too far away. There we go. Entry area there is all done. Wallpaper, I did kind of stick with more of a bluish tone. It looks kind of green, but that's because the light's kind of yellow, and the curtains are kind of blue. And then I placed these here for the living room. There's also a piano and little plants. These are so fun. Check this out, if I can do it. So I've got that there from the curtains. I just brought this up using my Alt 9 or Alt left click and just made it fit right there. And I think that's so cute. They just kind of hang there. Isn't that neat? I love that. And I did go ahead and close this off, make it a little triangle, brought up the floor. I put a light in here because without it, it's very, very dark. And decided to throw some plants up there just to have a little bit of something up there. Decorated the kitchen just a little bit. They're a very neat and tidy family. But we got the little, I guess, coffee bar, but whatever you want it to be. But there's still a counter there, and looks like a counter here to cook. You could move the cookbook over if you want. And a little picture there. I think it works out kind of nice. There's not really anything going on these walls, but I don't think there really needs to be. I don't know, you tell me what you think. I know it's kind of dark and moody over on the sides, not so much in the kitchen, but you know, it is what it is. That's exactly how my house is. So now I'm going to work on this middle room here and try to figure something out that'll be kind of fun. I definitely want the girl because there's no backyard in this house. We'll take care of that, and then we'll do a walkthrough of the whole thing. Yay! And here is the finished product. I love it. The only thing I don't like is these Jungle Adventure vines. That's the normal size. There's no shadow, but when I make them smaller, there is a shadow. I don't know why. I thought I could get them through debug. I believe, I can't remember who it was that I was watching. I think it was Sid Mac. They said that you could get it out of debug and it wouldn't cause a shadow, but I couldn't find it under debug. I looked under Jungle Adventure and I couldn't find it. So if y'all know where that is, please let me know, because I'd rather use those than these with the shadow. So, I mean, it doesn't look bad. You're not really going to notice it, I don't think. Hopefully not. But yeah, we've got our little activity room here, including a grill. Probably shouldn't have a grill, but whatever. It is what it is. I wanted a grill in there. And I did forget to do the porch, so I'm going to do that now. And here is our lovely little porch. I think it's cute. I couldn't help it. I had to use the llama cacti things. They are so cute. Look at that. They're amazing. I didn't even know I had those. So anyway, I got a little bit of greenery in there, a little table to have some breakfast coffee or something. The llama's an entry with lights, of course. And that is the exterior. No, I'm just kidding. I still want to do a little bit of landscaping. There's not a lot of room for landscaping, so let me see what I can do, and then we will do a walkthrough when I come back. Yay! I'm so excited. I'm all done. I did the exterior landscape. There's not a lot. There's very, very little. There is enough so that it's not too bland and boring if you use the same 20 by 15 lot size. So if you use a bigger lot size, of course, you can expand, you can do more landscaping as you wish. But for now, let's get ready to walk through, shall we? So here's a close-up of the porch. As you can see, we've got a little table for your coffee. You've got some plants there. We've got the llama cacti on either side to welcome you to the home. And a few plants over there, plenty of lighting, so you are good to go. You walk in, we'll go there later. On the left, we've got a little entry table with Bob the plant, coats, umbrellas, place to drop your keys, and a plant, and just some lights just for lighting purposes. Over here on the right, we have the living room. It's not super small, but it's not very big either, but it does have all the necessary amenities. There is the hanging plants in the window, which I think looks so cute. And then these three tables here, I sized up and down as needed. We also have the game console, some controllers and all of that. A couple of paintings that I sized down by 1 or 2. I think that one was down by 2 and these were down by 1. Keyboard behind the sofa, another little plant thing hanging there. There are plants up there, flowers, but you can't see them because of this mode. Here we have the beautiful kitchen. It's a little different, I guess, than I'm used to doing, especially with this tile, but I really do love this tile. These walls do match. You just can't tell because of this section here, which I just made a triangle, and inside I raised the floor so that it would be even with the top of the little half wall, so that way I could place some plants up there. So we do have a little bit of clutter in the kitchen, not a lot. Couple of upper cabinets, not a lot. I don't know why they're green. I need to change that. I don't want them to be green. I mean, it doesn't look bad, I guess. No, I don't want them to be green. I need to change that. And of course I have the fork and spoon. You can't forget the fork and spoon. We do have a smoke alarm over there. There are plants on top of that as well. Your little coffee bar here that you can also sit and eat at. And I did place the coffee pot. I'll show you that in a moment, how I did that. We walk out of the kitchen. As you can see, I used a lot of the turquoise, teal. I think that's teal throughout the house, which I think works really well. The curtains are actually blue. It's just hard to tell, but we do have the dining table here with a nice little plant there, little flower in the center, the little office desk section here. This is the one that the parents will use, of course, because the kids have their own. We walk around and we're back to the front. If we go through this door, this is the parents' bedroom. I really like how this one turned out. I really, really like it. Those are their parents, grandparents, I don't know, somebody's parents. And they've got your jewelry and some lotions there. And then here's the rest of the bedroom. There's not a ton of decor. I didn't want to put too much decor in here, but I did want to put some kind of decor. And I like the way this turned out. I wouldn't say minimal, but it's enough. It's just enough. We've got some knickknacks here on the coffee or end tables. Little open book, and then over here we've got the watch, his lotions, the Bob the plant, some books, and the pictures all kind of match. They're kind of country western. And then if we go in here, this is the main bathroom. I was trying to put 2 sinks in here, a double sink, but it just wasn't really working with what I was trying to do because I knew I wanted a stand-up shower like this. Didn't have to be 2 tile wide, but even with 1 tile wide, I just couldn't get it to do what I was wanting it to do. But it does have a plant and some pictures and some light. Toilet, sink, shower. That's all you need, right? And the shower door is from Lovestruck, which I'm so glad we got, or I got. So we leave their bedroom and we walk out this way. This door will take you into the kids' room. The two girls, I'm going to say they're twins, but I added a few little knickknacks to their little bookshelf here. This is like their little reading nook, I suppose, with their own little lamp. She's got her little stuffy down there, and she's got her little basket of goodies as well. They have this really, really pretty dresser, which I love. Got the twin beds, those curtains I absolutely adore. I think they're so, so pretty. Just this right here. This swatch of these curtains is so, so pretty. But they've got their own posters on either side. A little girl to remind them that they are always young ladies. And then their study desk with their own laptop. Each of them have their own kitties and a mirror. If we walk out of here, and we will go into their bathroom, very black and bluish, I suppose, with the shower, a little arrow to tell you which way is the exit, and then a little boy and a little girl, which I loved how that came out. It's so cute. The shower has a caddy as well. That's where the shower place is, and you can leave it that way if you want, but I like the tile to show through because it's, I think, kind of like an accent piece, I suppose. And this little man is not centered, so I'm going to center him. There we go. And let's see, what was the other thing? Oh, the tables. So I believe this is the normal size table, like that. So all I did was copy this, shrink it by 1 to get this size. And if we go from the normal size, you go, oh, I raised it by 1 with the 9 key so that I could layer them. Hey, wait a second. I had something on that table. Where did it go? What is under the table? The rocks that I put there. There they are. I knew I put something there. I couldn't figure out what was going on. Let's see. Oh yeah, I was going to change the color of these cabinets real quick to that one. And the green really didn't look bad, but I like it better that way. Let's make this afternoon. And the center room here is so cool. I really like it. So you walk in, this is your activity area. So you've got your games table, painting, a place to eat, I guess, a grill, bonsai tree, and knitting. Those are from Jungle Adventure. I absolutely adore these. I like them a lot. Oh, that's the roof. Okay. The only thing I don't like is that shadow. So yeah, if y'all know where in Debug I can get these that they don't do the shadow thing, I would love to know. If not, that's okay too. I'm not going to be upset. But what will make me upset is if the Sims leave their plates on this, because they always leave their plates on the half walls, and it is so aggravating. But I like this little room. It does have a glass ceiling, so you're protected from the weather in here. But it is also sunken down by 2, so you're not at the same level of the home. And you can see the rest of the house. So if you're in here, let's say playing a game or painting or something, mom or dad or whoever can knock on that window and say, dinner's ready. I don't know if parents still do that. I know I did. Not a lot because my son was still in the house. But when I was little, my mom would always make sure that I was home for dinner. And that was the whole street light thing. Yes. If the street lights were on and I wasn't at home, I was in trouble. That's just how it was. So I hope you guys like this layout. It's an A build, so I had to do something with the a-hole, and that's what I decided to do with the a-hole. I decided to make it look pretty. Yes, make your jokes. That is okay. It is intended to be as such. But I like the layout. I think the layout worked out really well. I like the things that I did, especially in this room and this bathroom. I really like all of it. The only thing that I'm like, about is this darkness here bothers me, and not having a lot more upper cabinets kind of bothers me a little bit. But other than that, I really do like it. I think it came out really neat. Oh, this was the other thing I was going to show you. Stop jumping. There's my counter. So there's your regular size counter. Click on the counter, shrink it as small as it'll go, and then bring the other counter back in. Hold Alt. Criminy. Hold on. Hold Alt. No, you got to click the counter, Paula. Hold Alt. And move it where you want. And then you can put the real counter back, and there you go. You've got your coffee not hanging off of the edge of the counter, which I cannot stand. And yeah, it could probably use a little bit more lighting, but like I said, it's moody on purpose. You know, the girls have a lot of light in their room. Parents have kind of moody light, but the bathrooms and the kitchen are very well lit up, and the rest of it is just a little moody, but it looks so cool. I really like it. I hope you guys like it too. Let me know down in the comments what you think, what your favorite part of the build is, what your favorite design choice is. if you would have done anything different. If you decide to do this challenge either with my A or somebody else's A, let me know. I want to check it out. I'm going to go ahead and upload or to the gallery the shell of the A as well as the full build of the A as well. So one was just going to be letter A shell and the other one will be letter A home. So the hashtags is alphabet challenge, letter A home, and letter A. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. I hope that this brings you any kind of inspiration, whether you use the letter A that I upload or somebody else's letter, it doesn't matter. Y'all, the purpose is to have fun and enjoy what you're doing, whether it's building or doing a playthrough. Just have fun and enjoy it. So until next time, y'all, have fun.